What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. We hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that the final days of the month of June are treating you well. That's right. We are so close to July, which means we are closer to Dallas Cowboys training camp. The Cowboys will hold their first practice out in Oxnard, California on July 26th, which means we have less than a month to go. I'm putting this video together on Thursday, June 29th, 2023. Of course, this is the latest video here in our Blogging the Boys training camp preview series. Make sure you subscribe right here to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. Between now and training camp, we'll be going position by position, looking at what the Dallas Cowboys have, examining what questions we have, doing our best to project forward into the 2023 season. We started our series earlier this week with the quarterback position because that's the name of the game when it comes to professional football. And we're going to continue today with the people charged with protecting the quarterback, that is the offensive line. And I think that there is a misconception, a national narrative that exists about the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, right? If you know somebody who is a fan of, I don't know, the Jaguars or the Chargers or the Seahawks or whatever, you have a friend or a family member who roots for a different team, a coworker, whatever the case may be, and you talk about your favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, of course, I'm certain that at one point or another in the last year, that person has told you, well, your offensive line is awesome, right? The Cowboys offensive line, it's always good. It's always great. And that is kind of true, except it's really not. Now, the Dallas Cowboys offensive line today is not who they were circa 2014, 2015, 2016. That was kind of the heyday of things for the Cowboys. And that created the narrative that still exists today. I think people look at the fact that obviously Zach Martin and Tyron Smith are a part of this group. Tyler Smith obviously had an incredible rookie season. But people look at that and they think the whole group is amazing. And I think that right now, as we get set for training camp, our biggest questions do kind of hover around this position group. And a lot of that are, or a lot of them rather, are questions that do technically have answers, but there's still questions that exist nonetheless. Let's take a look at what the Cowboys are working with along the offensive line. As you can see, we have put little asterisks next to the projected starters, which is a different discussion in and of itself we'll get to. But from left to right, our projected starters for the Cowboys: Tyron Smith, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, and then reserve options range. Obviously, you've got Matt Willetsko, Awesome Richards, Brock Hoffman, Matt Farniok, Josh Ball, Earl Bostic Jr., Chuma Edoga, Alec Lindstrom, TJ Bass, undrafted free agent, who a lot of people are really excited about, and Alex Taylor. We have put the departures for the Cowboys obviously there as well. Connor McGovern leaving in free agency for the Buffalo Bills. And it's Connor McGovern's departure that has kind of created this weird domino effect. And I don't know that any of us are sad or bummed, and I don't say that disrespectfully to Connor McGovern, but about him leaving. I think we're just in a state of question. We're in a state of wonder. We're in a state of kind of, trying to figure out what this is going to look like, because I'm certain that a lot of you agree with us that this should be the Dallas Cowboys offensive line from a projected standpoint, from left to right, presuming everybody is healthy. Tyron Smith at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard, Tyler Biadasz at center, Zach Martin at right guard, and Terrence Steele at right tackle. This is the offensive line that the Cowboys planned on trotting out last year in the season opener against the Buccaneers. But obviously, Tyron Smith got hurt, and that changed all of the calculus involved, which promoted Connor McGovern to the starting left guard spot because the Cowboys kicked Tyler Smith out to left tackle. And that's created this kind of good problem, right? It is a problem, but it's not the end of the world by any stretches. Well, Tyler Smith is kind of awesome, right? Tyler Smith is, entering his second year, and he's the left tackle of the future, but the future is kind of now. So should Tyler Smith play left tackle? But if Tyler Smith is playing left tackle, then where are you playing Tyron Smith, right? Tyron Smith has been this team's left tackle for, more than a decade, right? He's been this team's left tackle for about a decade and a half. If we're kind of rounding, obviously there's injuries involved there, but that's the thing. If you move Tyron to, say, the right side, where he obviously filled in for Terrence Steele last year when Steele got hurt, okay, well, what happens if and when Tyron gets hurt? Actually, is he even going to have an opportunity to play there? Is Terrence still going to be healthy to start the season? We still don't know all those things. Those are questions that are lingering. I mean, those are the questions that kind of are in the ether right now that just, I think, keep us up at night. And again, it's not difficult to figure out a starting lineup for the Cowboys when it comes to their offensive line. What's difficult is the unknown, right? We really don't know what's going to happen. The Tyron Smith thing is a good problem to have, but it is a problem. This is something I talked about on a recent podcast on the Blogging the Boys podcast network, the NFC East mixtape. I don't think there's any one of us. I don't think there's a Cowboys fan out there who would say, get Tyron Smith off my team. I don't want Tyron Smith. If you're saying that, I don't think you're being fair to what's happening. I agree with you that it's frustrating that we don't know exactly when Tyron is probably going to get hurt. And I don't think that's being negative, unfortunately. Do you know the last time that Tyron Smith played an entire season for the Dallas Cowboys? Because I can tell you it was 2015. Consider that the Cowboys drafted Dak Prescott in 2016. Dak Prescott, who's entering his 8th season with the Dallas Cowboys, looking to get his 3rd contract in the NFL. I guess 4th if you count the franchise tag. But still, you get my point. It's been a long time. Dak Prescott's entire career has been spent with Tyron Smith missing some time or another at every single point, every single season. And so you have to assume that that is going to happen. And that was our biggest gripe with the Cowboys a year ago. If we look at all the players who were involved, obviously, again, at this time, 365 days ago, the projected starters here, what the Cowboys were planning on trotting out. And we argued, I know I argued then, that they didn't really have a swing tackle option, which is kind of the opposite problem that they have now. At the time, a year ago, the Cowboys were banking on Matt Waletzko, who was a 5th-round rookie, who they got, obviously, in the Amari Cooper trade. People forget that. Matt Waletzko is the player who was picked with that 5th-round selection. It was Matt Waletzko and Josh Ball, who was a 4th-round pick in 2021 by the team. Those were the primary options at swing tackle for the Cowboys a year ago. They were both, well, Matt Waletzko got hurt. Josh Ball was awful in the preseason. Then Tyron Smith got hurt. The Cowboys were forced to bring in Jason Peters. And I know at the beginning of this offseason, we talked about, will they bring Peters back? Is he kind of just waiting? Does he want to skip all the offseason stuff? I don't know, because when you look at this, I feel really good about the team's top 3 tackles. And by top 3, I include Tyler Smith in that category. Now, I think this is the best offensive line that you can kind of put together. But the team, the Cowboys, our team has 3 quality tackles in Tyron Smith, Tyler Smith, and Terrence Steele. And you can kind of organize them how you would like. I'm interested in what Matt Waletzko offers. The Cowboys were obviously bullish on him a year ago as a rookie. They have talked about Josh Ball. I know that we have here on our graphic Josh listed as a tackle, but throughout this offseason, the Cowboys have mentioned Josh Ball. They have mentioned Chuma Edoga. They have mentioned Matt Farniok. They have even mentioned Terrence Steele as an option at left guard. And that maybe solves the Tyron Smith problem, right? If Terrence Steele is healthy, which is a question in and of itself, as we've mentioned already, if Terrence Steele is healthy, do you play him at left guard? And then you move Tyler Smith out to left tackle and then Tyron Smith over to right tackle? That seems like a lot of moving and then a lot of reverse moving if and when Tyron Smith does get hurt. But that is an option. Now, my personal belief, if you're asking for it, and if you're not, I don't know how you end up here, but hey, thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. My personal belief is that the Cowboys obviously have their plan. They have their idea of what they want to do, but they're keeping all the cards close to the vest right now. And that's why the Cowboys have no problem sending us into frenzies every couple of months over the course of the offseason saying, yeah, Josh Ball, he could be our left guard. Yeah, Terrence Steele, he could be our left guard. Yeah, TJ Bass, he could be our left guard. The Cowboys, Matt Farniok could be their left guard. Tyler Smith could be their left guard. The Cowboys have a number of different amalgamations and permutations that they can create along their offensive line. And the only chalk pieces, the only pieces that you can kind of, bet your bottom dollar on, set your watch by, are Tyler Biadasz at center and Zach Martin at right guard. Other than that, anything is truly on the table. And while we're all excited for training camp, this is our training camp preview series, I don't know that camp is going to offer a real and total picture of what we can expect from the team. Now, there will be first team offensive line lineups that will be interesting and that, will be a lot for us to read into, but the Cowboys are going to handle things very precariously with Terrence Steele coming back from an injury. They're obviously going to let Tyron Smith have his veteran days, et cetera, et cetera. So I do expect to see a lot of Tyron and Tyler Smith working at left tackle at training camp. I do expect to see Tyron Smith working at right tackle. I mean, you have to be prepared. And I think that's what the Cowboys have kind of learned. And I think that's probably at the core the thing we struggle with the most, because we did grow accustomed to having a chalk lineup all the way down the offensive line, right? Forever, it was Tyron Smith at left tackle. You could call it Ron Leary, then Lyle Collins at left guard. Then Lyle obviously shifted to right tackle after Doug Free moved on. Travis Frederick at center, Zach Martin at right guard. Things were simple. Things made sense. Things were very predictable. And we just now live in an era with this team and this particular position along the offensive line where, there's a lot more balls in the air where they have to kind of figure things out as they go along. They've proven that they have the ability and the capability to do that. Think about, we're sitting here and we're saying, you got to do this, you got to do that. And we're valuing different offensive linemen. And Terrence Steele is one of those. Terrence Steele is a player who they bet on, who a lot of people, myself included, I was not high on that decision a year ago. I thought it was foolish of them to cut Lyle Collins, but Terrence Steele proved them right. And that's why it's important for them to get a new deal done with Terrence Steele. It's important for them to get a new deal done with Tyler Biotish. Those are the offensive linemen that we're talking about here today. But obviously, Trayvon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, they're a part of that conversation as well. This is a really fascinating room for the Cowboys, and they're going to have a lot of time, obviously, while they're out in Oxnard to kind of figure out exactly how they want to make it work. So that is our discussion on the team's offensive line. Actually, by the way, last couple of things. Very interested to see what Chuma Edoga offers, one of the team's few free agent signings, external veteran free agents. And again, TJ Bass, undrafted free agent. There has been some chatter. There has been some discussion. We'll see. The Cowboys have I think they have a lot of players. They have a lot of interior linemen that we're really intrigued by. So that left guard spot, if it doesn't belong to Tyler Smith, is kind of anyone's, to take. So I'm interested to see who winds up taking it. But that was our discussion on the offensive line. Next up will be the running back position. So make sure you subscribe right here to the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our videos, whether it's our training camp preview series, our Blog on the Boys roundtables, which we do every Tuesday. We drop the NFC East mixtape that I mentioned on Wednesday. And obviously, once training camp gets here, we'll have recaps happening all the time because football season will officially be back. My name is RJ Ochoa. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa. On TikTok, rj.ochoa. If you'd like to send me an email, you can do that at rjochoa@sbnation.com, or you can leave a comment down below, and we'll do our best to get to those. For now, I bid you adieu. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have something delicious to eat, and thanks so much for hanging out. See you next time.